Welcome back to another episode of Dentistry's Growing with Grace podcast. Join Grace and her guest of the week as they discuss lessons learned in the industry and explore unique insights into ethical growth. Hello and welcome back to Dentistry's Growing with Grace. I am very excited to have my new friends, Shawn and Shawnee, here with me today. We'll be discussing a brand new way to grow your practice and enhance patient loyalty. So welcome, Shawn and Shawnee. Tell me about you and your business.
So I got into dentistry simply because my dad left a candy company that he was an executive at and decided to start his own this like dental supply company. And this is when I was like 12, 13. So, going to trade shows as a kid. And then just deciding that I love business and loved entrepreneurship and just learning more about how I can create solutions that help dentists out. And part of running a great business is assembling an amazing team. And that's where Shawnee fits in. So
thank you. Well, I am a dental hygienist and I love the clinical side of dentistry, but I always knew from the beginning that I would do something on the business side. And I ended up going into sales and I did some marketing and helped with CE courses and was a manufacturer rep. And that's how I met Shawn, is just through connections here in Phoenix. And I loved what Zana was doing. I loved the idea of the company. And just this year started to work for them full time. So it's been awesome.
And since we haven't said yet, Zana it's just redefining what an electric toothbrush program can be in your practice, where it's not just about selling toothbrushes, but it's about like a win for your practice and really a win for your patients.
So we just met and got connected recently, Shawn, and I am so impressed with this concept. I've been in the dental marketing space for 12 years or so now, and it's rare that I come across something that's truly unique and that truly revolutionizes how things are being done. And I really think that's what you've done here. So talk to me about, what is Zana and what can, and how is it different?
Well, so first, just kind of as a testament to you, the fact that when I shared it with you, not just did you get it, but like you saw so clearly the way that it helps practices, like that just goes to show how much you're all in on business, on delivering value to dentists, because I've shared it with actually a lot of even small business owners, and they don't make the same connections that you just made so quickly. So Grace, like you're the real deal that's like in it. And I can tell, like, that's why you go above and beyond to really help your clients out, because you just have this passion and this zeal for bringing value and bringing exceptional value.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of people may not know this, and I'm going off track a little, but I actually worked in a practice for 2 years prior to starting my company, just managing their marketing. So I looked at everything intricately, not just our website, but I looked at what's our patient loyalty, how many visits before a patient is really hooked for life, before they're not going anywhere. And what do those numbers look like, and how do we leverage every possible advantage to grow this practice? And so doing that in a very focused for one, 2 locations really allowed me to, when I'm talking to dentists, really understand the day-to-day challenges that they experience, because I lived it. And so when you told me about Zana, it was one of those things where I go, why didn't I think of that? It's so good. It's so good. Okay. So tell us, what is it?
Well, so that's the same exact journey that I went on, except instead of starting in a dental practice, my father and I were realizing we're getting frustrated because we're trying to serve dentists, but we actually don't know what's going on in the practice. Back, just even 6-7 years ago, didn't have any dental professionals that I was super in touch with, some friends, but not really close. So now all of a sudden, with the Authentic Dentist, me being partnered with Dr. Allison House, and now with Shawnee coming on board, I have that perspective of a hygienist and a dentist. And that is what actually gave birth to Zana. We were just listening, like, what is it that pains a practice? What is it that they're struggling with? And what do they really care about? And we realized they really care about engaging with patients in a new way strengthening patient retention, reducing no-shows. And that's actually how Zana got formed pretty much.
I think that's been one of the biggest pain points for as long as I can remember, is that no-show piece.
Mhm.
And how do we get them to really value what we do? And how do we build that loyalty? Because as we know, competition just continues to increase in just about any field. And how do we stand out, and how do we continue to be ahead on that? And so what was the solution you came up with?
Well, we realized that instead of just offering patients a chance to buy a toothbrush, whether it's an Oral-B or Sonicare, and I think both of those have great quality products, we wanted to offer them a chance to join a care program that was where that practice is able to extend that care to them beyond the chair. So the care program is actually called Care Beyond the Chair. So when a patient enrolls in that, not only do they get our Z-Sonic Pro at 50% off from where they can get it anywhere else, because we really are partnered with a dentist, but when they come back for their routine hygiene visits, we supply that practice free replacement heads for life to provide to their patients.
Yeah,
And
that's
when
the
you,
best part.
it really is. When you told me about this, I was like, what? You told me the price of the toothbrush, and then you told me free replacement heads for life. And I was like, how do you make any money? Like, I was like,
Real messed up.
where are your profit margins as a business owner? I'm like, it's too good. It's got to be too good to be true. And then I was like, oh, I get it now. It's once people, I think, experience this program, you said Care Beyond the Chair.
Yeah.
Once they experience the Care Beyond the Chair program, I think it's going to be a no-brainer to continue it, and to just, and so it serves as, obviously, your sales funnel. And the reason you don't have to mark the toothbrushes up 3 or 4 times the way that they are in retail is because the doctors are distributing for you, the patient's benefiting, the doctor's benefiting. So the patient's saving money on the toothbrush. The doctor is building loyalty at no cost to him and differentiating his practice with this program, especially for the early adopters. So if you're sitting there thinking, what's a cool way to be different? Everyone's doing the same things. Like, we have the solution for you right here. It's awesome. Okay. So, talk to me about how Zana helps reduce missed appointments.
So I would say from a hygienist perspective, every little thing that we can do to make our patients' lives easier is a win. And I'm not kidding. My patients love their free goodie bag. That is sometimes their favorite part of the appointment. And they're just getting a manual toothbrush and floss and toothpaste. So when we're actually giving them a toothbrush replacement head that they would have had to went out and purchase anyway, and oftentimes they forget to buy it, or a year has gone by and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't even replaced it and I don't know where I put them. You're reminding them every time you come in. So they're getting something of value that they would have had to buy that is super overpriced otherwise. So that portion of connecting with your patients on that level, it's just show, and no other office does that. They've never been to an office that gives them replacement heads. So that right there is huge with reducing missed appointments.
And we love that idea of enabling practices to lead with generosity, because when they're engaging with their patients and they're coming back, typically it's like, okay, what's this going to cost? And I understand that's just normal. They're getting a service, they're getting a cleaning, and it's a very valuable service. But to be like, look, you're part of our family. And when you're part of our family, we take care of you. So we're going to give you $25 worth of replacement heads every single time to make sure that not only are you brushing with the best, but that your bristles are
effective.
Yeah, because when they start breaking down and then you pair that with a very powerful motor on a sonic brush, that can actually be really harmful for gums if people don't like replacing the heads because they're so expensive.
Yeah, and I don't even know where I think the first place I would go to replace the heads on my toothbrush would be Amazon, just because of the world we're living in right now. And I don't really do a whole lot of physical shopping anymore as it is. And so this solves that for them. They're not even having to think about it.
Yep.
such great value. So if they're thinking twice about, I don't know, maybe I'll try out this new practice down the street, but then I love my toothbrush. Where am I going to get and I know that sounds like, is that really the reason that people would continue to, it's one of the many reasons people would continue to stay with your practice. It's a huge value add. So, okay, as someone who uses an electric toothbrush, who uses a sonic toothbrush, how does this compare to the other toothbrushes on the market? Like, as a patient, am I really going to be like impressed by this, or is it, since I'm getting it for free, am I going to be impressed by it?
So that's an interesting thing, because you have like electric toothbrush or sonic toothbrush, and there's a lot of almost tiers of that have come into the market, and they just put a battery in the brush and it vibrates, and it might look nice, but it doesn't actually have the performance. So we compare ours, for like vibrations per minute and everything, to the Sonicare Diamond Clean, which was retailing from like $220 to $250. So we sell this Z-Sonic Pro on our site for $200, but it comes included with that $99.95 enrollment to the patient. So they're getting it
so the patient's like, yes, I want that toothbrush. And they pay $99.95 to the practice, which is half of what it would be if they bought it on their own. So they're already seeing it as a gift. And now at every appointment, they're getting the replacement heads for absolutely nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's just like, it has everything you've come to expect in sonic technology.
I was skeptical at first. Do you remember? I was like, I've been using my Sonicare for 10 plus years. Like, there's no way I'm going to love a toothbrush more than a Sonicare. It's amazing.
But Shawnee, I'm so glad she brought that up, because again, listening to her hesitancy, she's a hygienist, she knows about good oral hygiene practices, and hearing her say that, I was like, man, when a practice gets into Zana, like, if the staff can't actually enroll and get a sample of their own to be able to use and brush with, there's no way they can tell their patients about it.
Yeah.
So when a practice enrolls, they have a chance to enroll team members, one-time investment, so that they get their own Z-Sonic, because let's face it, they have loyalties. They like Sonicare, they like their Oral-B, and they're not going to be able to really share unless they have that story of, look, I was skeptical. I love this brush. And then all of a sudden I tried the Z-Sonic Pro and I was amazed.
Here's my thing. I want everyone who's listening to this podcast or videocast or whatever, if you care about entrepreneurship, if you care about business, if you're passionate about it the way that we are, share this, please. Because what I think is going to happen with Zana, and I don't mean to be like the bearer of bad news, but I think it's too good of an idea to not be replicated. Like, I think as soon as it starts getting out there, other companies are going to try to replicate your model, your genius. And so let's very quickly spread the word that this is an option for practices, because it's brilliant, and let's support the brilliance behind this. And, let the big companies follow and do what they're going to do, but let's try to get there as quickly as we can, because I think it's great.
Well, thank you. That's very honoring. So, Grace, appreciate that, especially again from someone like you. Dentistry can become a commodity if dentists just try to play by the rules and do what everyone else is doing and not really stand out and create something remarkable. And it's the same exact thing with the services you provide. It can become commoditized if there's no heart behind it, if there's no passion behind it. And that's what's so refreshing about me meeting you. I was like, man, here's someone that's just bringing insane value to dentists. Like, if I had a practice of my own, I would definitely go with identity dental marketing and your services, just because not only do you get it, but just the commitment. Like, you create remarkable experiences and deliver those services to your clients. And I just think that's awesome. So props to you.
Thank you so much. And I did not pay you to say that, but I would definitely pay you to say that. So in the midst of this, I don't even want to say the word pandemic.
The P word.
The P word. How can Zana help?
So I think there's this new era that's kind of coming forth, and it's similar to what I was kind of saying. Like, it's no longer about being hesitant to just try to do what everybody else is doing, because there's nothing uncommon about that. You need to elevate your game. You need to step it up in every single way. You're up against now I mean, you have been for the last decade, these practices against DSOs, but it's no longer an option to just, I don't know, to not invest in business best practices, to not align yourself with an agency like yours that is going to help them elevate the game. And I've heard people say like, hey, do you have that one tip or trick that's going to get me like 10 new patients a month? And it's like, no, but I have 10 tricks that will get you one patient a month. You have to layer everything you know. And if you're leaving the door open on your patient base by not really engaging with them and leading with generosity, you got to step it up. And that's why even, you know, we brand the brush with the practice name, website, and imprint. So when this is
That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
So I remembered that, but I didn't want to ask you just in case I remembered it wrong, because I was going to ask. So right now, a lot of practices get the toothbrush that's imprinted with their information on it, the traditional. But then they're also saying you should really use a sonic level toothbrush. It's sending a mixed message, isn't it?
Yep. That always bothers me. I'm like, why am I giving you a manual toothbrush that I'm telling you not to use? Yeah, it makes no sense. So why not brand their sonic toothbrush? I mean,
it's brilliant. It makes so much sense.
And that's why we invested so heavily in the battery, because what's first to go in any premium electric toothbrush is the battery. So this lasts like up to 3 months on one charge.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. People are shocked. We're like, hey, you get it. Just put your charger away and just see how long. Because most people don't even want to bring their electric toothbrush on a business trip.
Yeah.
Because they want to bring the charging base just in case it dies. With this, you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. That's awesome. That's incredible. So how can dentists identify if they're working with a partner, or if they have a distribution channel?
Do you want to handle this one, or you want me to?
You can.
Okay. So this is like a massive passion of mine.
Shawnee's like, go ahead.
Yep.
Like, this is exactly, again, it goes back to why what you do is special. For some reason, it's worked out really great for the large companies like Sonicare and Oral-B to somehow get dentists really excited about offering to their patients something that they don't really get much credit for. But the sad thing is, so the patient walks out the door and they're happy because they got some sort of special, I guess, that they can get in this practice. And then on the weekends, they're either walking through Costco or they're shopping at home on Amazon, and they realize they could have got 2 Sonicares or whatever at the exact same price that they just got one in the practice. And that's because, if we're being honest, Amazon views dentistry as a distribution channel, not a partnership. Sonicare does. Sonicare is actually partnered with Amazon, and Sonicare is partnered with Costco. That's really where
a partnership.
They offer special pricing that the consumer can't get anywhere else. But they're not really doing the dental practice a favor, because you get that patient feeling like, oh man, I kind of got sold, or I really could have saved some money. And then they start questioning the value that they're getting in your practice. You do not want that, especially today.
It's not good for your brand to sell someone something that they could have gotten for less, the exact same product from a different source. Yeah. It's definitely not good for your brand, for your reputation in the community. This is going to change that. It's a problem people don't even know that they have.
Yep, good point.
That's why I was so excited about it, because I was like, I never even thought about this. I've thought about branding everything you could possibly think of. Like, let's brand all the face masks right now. Let's brand everything. But this is different. So this program plays into, and I just want to outline this for my followers, my clients, my friends. This plays into patient loyalty. This plays into reducing no-shows. This plays into brand recognition. This plays into gift marketing. Like, you're checking all the boxes that I speak on, that I lecture on, that I care about. And it doesn't cost the dentist anything, right?
Well, so they join Zana, and then they have a plan that they can pick from as low as $7 a month to, if they want some of the added perks, $17 a month. And that just means once you're in Zana, we will provide ongoing as many imprinted toothbrushes as your practice needs, because as those transactions are happening and patients are enrolling, it's all in our portal. So we're seeing it all. We're managing the inventory. We get triggered. We get alerts. We re-imprint more. We send it to them. There's no shipping costs. There's no handling costs. They don't have to worry about their inventory. They don't have to buy a ton up front. It's a low monthly investment so that you can have Care Beyond the Chair active in your practice, and we just manage it all for them.
And this is a technical question. So how does the transaction actually happen then?
So it's simple. We send, originally they have their first shipment of Z-Sonics that are imprinted. So they have them in stock. They're already brushing with their own and sharing them with patients. And patients are like, oh yeah, I'd like to enroll in Care Beyond the Chair and get a Z-Sonic Pro. And they just hand the practice their credit card, just like they'd be paying for the visit maybe. And that front office person, whatever, just goes onto our portal and just really quickly inputs the information.
Perfect.
That's simple.
So very turnkey, can be done up front, very low risk for the doctor. And how long does it take to get up and running? So if they sign up today, how long before they have some toothbrushes?
They sign up today. The first shipment goes out same day with the non-imprinted brushes for the doctor and staff. And then any sort of, we have a whole onboarding type of materials to support in office, whether it's, stands or countertop displays. So just, it can be passively communicated if they're not sharing it with every patient. Even loops that go on their TV in the waiting room about Care Beyond the Chair in the practice. And
trust me, if you need help getting your patients to sign up, I will help you with that piece. We'll get it done.
And as soon as we can verify the imprint information, just because we want to make sure it's good, we start imprinting them and they'll receive their first order within probably like 7 to 10 business days.
I love it. So to all of my clients who are listening, I am giving you the formal recommendation to sign up with Zana. I am recommending it right now. So don't say I didn't tell you about it, because I have a record of this. And I really thank you guys for sharing this information. How can our audience get in touch with you to learn more?
myzana.com, our Facebook page, and our Instagram page.
Wonderful.
And businesses thrive off of word of mouth and referrals. So anyone that's already a client of Grace that is really just, again, enjoying her services, if you have a colleague, someone you went to school with that needs her help, please, it would do so much to even share that with them. Because sometimes you don't realize, wow, yeah, I love working with Grace and her team. And some of my friends will really get benefited from that too. So, do her company a favor and share that too.
Thank you. So, and Zana, just because some people are going to be listening by audio only, is Zana. So myzana.com. And thank you guys so much for being here. For all of our listeners and viewers, thank you for being a part of Dentistry's Growing with Grace. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Grace.